Back here on HQ, presented by FanDuel, Kyle Long has already picked our wild card games this weekend. Only one upset. Commanders over Buccaneers. Commanders at Buccaneers. That's the one upset he has. Chalky the rest of the way as far as point spreads. All right, so this is how the bracket looks right now for Kyle, filling out wild card weekend. Let's start with the divisional round. We're going to go upper left to kick this thing off with Justin Herbert against Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs, the 1 seed. They swept the Chargers in the regular season, but Kyle, both games were within a possession.
You know, and the theme today has been you can't beat a divisional opponent 3 times, and I throw that out the window with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I also think that this Kansas City Chiefs, the way they're constructed on offense is so much different than we've seen and the Chargers have seen this season. Joe Tooney at left tackle, the rest they got there, the rest they will have prior to this game. I fully anticipate the Kansas City Chiefs showing up, not looking ahead of their opponent and getting the win here.
Okay, so Chiefs won in week 4 by 7, and then in week 14 by 2, and Kyle has the Chiefs winning in the divisional round as well, and moving on to host what would be their 6th straight AFC Championship game at Arrowhead. Down to a game that, man, we're licking our chops if we actually do get this one. It's Ravens and Bills. And that first meeting was a blowout. I mean, the Ravens beat the Bills by 25. What do you see in this rematch?
Well, you know what? I have seen Josh Allen do amazing things. I have seen Lamar Jackson do amazing things, and I just feel like Josh Allen right now is going to put the team on his back until they meet with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I love the Buffalo Bills in this spot. Another team of destiny. You know, we talk about these groups where we feel like there's something in the water there in the building. For the Buffalo Bills, it's been spectacular all year. I was not a buyer on them at the beginning of the year, but man, oh man, Joe Brady has been so much fun to watch this offense go and design it week in, week out. But then again, I mean, you're dealing with Lamar Jackson. I think this is kind of a gut pick for me. I'm going to be picking Josh Allen. I think he has his MVP moment in that.
You're not worried about what happened in that first meeting when the Ravens won 35-10?
You know what? I just feel like this team is rolling right now, and I know they had some tough weeks against the New England Patriots, a couple sandwich games in there with week 16 and week 18, but the Buffalo Bills have been looking ahead to the playoffs for quite some time now, and they're here.
Okay, so the Bills moving on as well. So we have the AFC Championship game. Oh, that's what we want right there. Chiefs and Bills.
Yep.
Let's go over to the NFC now. And you had the Commanders upsetting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and now going to Detroit to face the top-seeded Lions.
I think the buzzsaw that it's the Detroit Lions offense will be too much to handle for the Washington Commanders defense. I feel like Jaden Daniels is the quarterback of destiny on this side of the bracket, and I do think they get through the Buccaneers, but they're going to run into the class of the NFC and the Detroit Lions. And they made a huge statement to me last week with the way they dismantled the Minnesota Vikings. I love the Lions in that spot.
These two teams have not played this season. That would not be a rematch. And you don't think, it sounds like, that it would be very close. The Lions
First time they see Jameson Williams running down that red line, they're going to be like, what the hell was that? Was that the other cars?
Let's go down to the bottom then. It's the Eagles, the 2 seed, against the Minnesota Vikings. And it's a pair of 14-3 teams in the regular season facing off.
I said it earlier on this show, this Philadelphia Eagles team, they're built to win anywhere, anyhow. I mean, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback, as long as you've got that offensive line and you've got those winners on the defensive line in the pass rush department. I think this team will be just fine. I love the Philadelphia Eagles in this one, and obviously I can't wait to watch the Eagles and the Lions in the NFC Championship.
Wow. I mean, I'm glad Pete Prisco isn't here anymore, because he'd be screaming at you, chalk, it's all chalk.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I pick games all year. I get some beliefs, and then I put it on the board, and then everybody just kills me about it. You come up here and put the jacket on and do this.
Look, I'd sign up for this right now. 1 versus 2 in the NFC, 1 versus 2 in the AFC.
You kidding me?
Championship weekend, Bills, Chiefs, Mahomes, 3-0 against Allen in the postseason in his career. What about the 4th matchup?
It's going to be Patrick Mahomes again. I mean, come on. You know, a couple years ago, we saw Tyreek Hill leave the roster, and people thought, well, Patrick Mahomes no longer has driver in his bag. And then we found out he hits the 3-wood, 350 yards right down the middle. And that's kind of been the story for the Kansas City Chiefs. Whatever you take away from them, they learn something new. They adjust. They are the New England Patriots of when I was a younger boy. You know, they just find a way to win week in, week out. And they are going to frustrate that Bills team again when they beat them.
And they're just a playoff team. I mean, you see, Allen gets the best of them in the regular season.
Got the rest. He's healthy. Travis Kelce has been historic in the playoffs. I don't care what his 40 time is. He will be open. He will catch the 4th and short. He will make the conversion. Patrick Mahomes' ankle is going to be just fine. And they've got those skill guys coming around. And what have we talked about all year? That offensive line. Tooney, Humphrey, Smith, they're healthy. They're rested. They're ready for the run.
Okay, so Kansas City back to the Super Bowl, according to Kyle Long, going to New Orleans. Who are they going to face? The top-seeded Lions or the Philadelphia Eagles?
It's going to be 2 ones playing in the Super Bowl. It's going to be the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs in New Orleans. I'm going to be down there with Mike for Pushing the Pile, and I can't wait to cover it all week. I just think it's the matchup that people have wanted to see all season. And people called them the Kansas City Chiefs, and people said the Lions couldn't survive all their defensive injuries, but they found a way to keep it going. You get Anzalone back in the lineup. It's an inspired group. They've been fantastic on both sides of the ball. Steve Spagnuolo, as good a big game defensive coordinator as there is in the NFL. Obviously, Andy Reid and Matt Nagy do a tremendous job, and you can't take away the fact that they have Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, one of the greatest football players that ever lived.
We almost got this matchup last season, but that big 49ers comeback
Dan
gave
Campbell,
us Niners
hubris.
and Chiefs. But we'll see. If it ends up this way, it'll be the first time ever, Kyle, that we have a pair of 15-win teams matching up, not just in the Super Bowl, but in the playoffs, period. We've never had 2 15-win teams in the playoffs. You have them matching up in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Are you going to go against your former team, the Chiefs, ever?
Three-peat. It's time to make history. I mean, we as sports media members, we get to be part of this as well. Fans.
Oh, we get to claim it as well?
Fans of not even the Kansas City Chiefs, this is something you were around to see. This is not just, some little thing that's happening. This is 3 straight Super Bowls, back to back to back. It's unbelievable, and there's only one guy for that job. It's Patrick Mahomes, and I can't wait to watch him do it. I'm so proud of this group. Obviously, I was on the team in 21 when we lost to Joe Burrow at Arrowhead. You know, this team is ready to roll.
Burrowhead.
This team is ready to roll, and I know that guy 87 would like to go out on top.
In this matchup specifically, why do you think, other than all the intangibles that
the way I talked about the Minnesota Vikings, and I picked the Vikings as my best bet last week, and I was wrong. I said that they're the most complete team in football, defensively and offensively, not named the Kansas City Chiefs. And I was proved by the Detroit Lions that just wasn't the case. The only other group that I feel like could stand toe-to-toe with that group is the Kansas City Chiefs. They play defense at an incredibly high rate, and in big moments, big games, they get the biggest plays out of Chris Jones on the defensive line. He finds a way to get to your quarterback. I can tell you, as an offensive guard, there's nobody that matches up well with Chris Jones. I can't wait to see that. And then again, Patrick Mahomes with the ball in his hand, with time on the clock. Everybody's in trouble that's not in red.
That would be the first three-peat in Super Bowl history if it happens. The Kansas City Chiefs over the Detroit Lions is the pick from Kyle Long. We do pick show every single week here on HQ. We just did our wild card round pick show with Kyle Long and Pete Prisco. We go live with that around noon Eastern time every Tuesday. If you don't catch it here, you can catch it on our YouTube page at CBS Sports.